Hey, this is Aaron Creer from Report Force. Today we're going to take a look at a common issue with dashboard filters. So we're going to take a peek here. I have a pipeline dashboard, and we have opportunities on the left, leads on the right. And the scenario is I'm a sales manager, and I want to be able to see the performance of my team related to both of these objects. So how much are we potentially closing? What is going to be converted, hopefully, in the next week, month, quarter, whatever our time period is. But I want to build this dashboard for long term, make it easy maintenance, and I want to be able to slice and dice it kind of any way I want. So what I want to do is add a filter for the sales rep. And what we run into is an issue with the lead object. So if I edit this and I try and add a filter, and we'll do it for our opportunity owner here. And now we can hover over this. We see our equivalent fields, and lead owner is not in here. We have a custom one that you can see here called lead record owner. Ignore that for the time being. That's what we're actually going to use to solve this issue. But standard out of the box, lead owner field is not available as an equivalent to opportunity owner. And the reason for that is that that field is polymorphic. And what that means is a lead can be owned by both a user as well as a group or a queue. Same thing applies for cases as well as tasks. Events can also be owned by users or calendars. So that's what's blocking us from being able to use that as a filter, so we can just quickly toggle amongst our sales team to see each individual's performance here. So to solve that, we're going to do a couple of things. First is we're going to add a custom field. So we can see here we have our standard lead owner field, and you can see here the lookup is to the user or group, and by group they just mean queue. Then I've created this custom version, which is lead record owner, and it's just to look up to the user only. So for our scenario, we only care about what the reps own. We're not worried about what's sitting in a queue, because those are not going to convert into sales as quickly as what the reps are working, and we want to see what they're working on. So this field gets used for is really just to be embedded in that filter on the dashboard. So when we add this to the object, we still need a way to populate it. Things I tried prior to using this solution were trying to use formulas to see if we could just pull, say, the text value of the record owner and use that in the dashboard filter, which did not work. So this was a solution that I was able to come up with. So we're going to populate this field with just a before save record triggered flow. So if we edit this, we're going to just see we're running it when it's created or updated, because we want it to populate when the record's created. We also want it to populate if the owner is changed. And we're doing this as a before save flow, simply because we're just updating the record that's triggering it. We don't need to go get any other records, touch any other records. So from a performance-wise, it's better if we do it this way, and we're just doing that update on the record itself prior to save. And our criteria here is owner ID starts with 005, which just means it's owned by a user, so it's not going to fire if the record's owned by a queue. And then if the owner ID is changed, or if our custom field is null, we're going to have this populate, so we're covered both when the record is created as well as when that ownership is changed. And this fires and populates our new custom field, which then allows us to add it as a filter into our dashboard. So we're going to add a value in here. For myself, and I'll add a value for another rep, and we're going to add that. And then within our lead chart here, we're going to just change the equivalent field, and we're going to use lead record owner. That's the custom field I created. I always think it's better add the object in there. So if you had a dashboard that had tasks as well as leads, as an example, just make sure you're clear on which record owner, custom record owner fields you're choosing. So I always put the object name in there as well. And we'll add that in there. save. And now we are able to easily toggle, and we'll see both of these charts update and refresh, and we can see our metrics have changed. So a pretty quick way to solution this. Obviously, the more stuff you have on your dashboard, the more times you'd have to repeat this on your different objects. On your flow, if you have a before save flow already on an object that's doing several other things, you could take this criteria here that we built as our entry criteria, and you could drop that down into a decision if it is doing a bunch of other things. So you don't have to create a completely separate flow just for this if you have other things firing before save on your objects. So again, thank you very much. Hopefully you find this useful.